Hi, today we are going to learn how to draw a simple house and a tree and learn how to paint the scene with basic watercolor finish. Not too much, but just how to kickstart our journey into watercolors. So let's draw first a nice house. You can draw any way that you like it. Currently, I'm just making a very simple, basic one. Let's add 2 small windows to it and maybe one nice tree over here. This is going to be perfect for beginners. Now let's give a very nice finish with watercolors. I'm going to be using very basic colors right now. We'll start first with the sky. Just remember that your watercolors are extremely water sensitive, and the amount of water that you use determines how dark the color is going to be. So it's always a good idea to also have a swatch sheet next to you. So the papers that I'm using is 300 GSM. You'll have to make sure that the colors don't mix into each other. So it needs to dry as well. So if you don't have some colors, don't worry about it. We'll also be mixing our own colors. I'm mixing some yellow and some blue to create a very nice green, in case you don't already have these colors. So what we're doing right now is very basic painting. But even though it is that way, it helps us to create a very beautiful effect. Now let's add some brown for the bark. And maybe some light green for the grass around the house. So this happens when you don't use masking tape and your paper starts buckling up, but it will not harm your paper. You can still leave it after the painting to dry, and it will regain its shape back again. All you need to do is probably keep it in between some sheets of paper or some thick books, and it'll be perfectly fine. And if you don't have it, so what do you do in that case? So you can just keep some paperweights over here, or even use your tubes of paint to put it down. But right now, since it's not harming us, it's not harming the painting, so I'm just letting it be the way it is. Now we'll go ahead and paint the house. So the roof of the house, I'm going to give a brown finish to that. Feel free to paint yours in any style that you like. And the house inside, I have a nice orange mixed over here, so I'm going to use a light version of that. So how do you use a lighter version? Add more water and your color will become lighter. Let's do the doors. The doors can probably be in a slightly darker tone, maybe mix a little bit of red with it. And we'll add some doors and windows. I'm going to allow my painting to rest. Meanwhile, we can add in some details. So I'm going to add with a pigment marker because these are waterproof pigment markers, so it's very easy to use them onto your paintings either before your painting is done or after your painting is done. So I generally prefer to do it after the painting is done to understand if I need to add some more details onto it. You can wait for your paintings to dry before we add it, because otherwise it will start smudging and that will not look very nice. So I'm going to wait for this to dry up and then start the outline. So my painting has pretty much dried. There are some portions over here which are still wet, but that's fine because we'll start filling in the details in the background. So let's go ahead with that. So these kind of smudges are very common in watercolor paintings. I like how it goes away sometimes, but if you're somebody who doesn't like it, who doesn't prefer your colors to go outside, then you can wait for each color to dry before you add on to the next one. Also, if you feel you don't want to add pencils first, that's fine, because it will also help to create very nice effects. Sometimes I leave the pencil marks over there, it looks good. Or you can make your paintings very light before you add in your watercolors. You can use a kneaded eraser for removing it, or also known as a kneadable eraser or a putty eraser. So this kind of a very flowy watercolor gives us the room to add in a lot of details onto our paintings. Maybe some grassy effect. So now, looking at our final piece, we can decide if we want to add some more darker shades to it. So this is why I prefer doing the outline in the end, because it gives me room to then add in more details. Let's add some shade also in the house. So watercolors always dry out one shade or two shades lighter depending on how much of water has been added in them. So it's always a good idea to let it rest, completely dry up, and then decide if you want to add any more details to it in terms of the darkness of the colors. And here now the last effect to the tree, and we'll be pretty much done. So here is a very simple basic painting that you can do with watercolors. In fact, all I have used is 3 primary colors and absolutely nothing else. All I mixed different colors to form your browns, your yellows, your greens. So if you're confused about how to do them, you can have a look at my earlier tutorials where I explain in detail about how to mix different colors to get your orange, your green, your browns, and your pinks and purples. So please try that and have a look at my other tutorials. Do try this out. If you do, you can also post it on Instagram, where I have a page by the same name and I can feature you on my story. Thank you.